What is up, everybody? J Nell here with my UFC 224 prediction video, and it is coming to you from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I couldn't help it. The cards from Brazil are always really good, whether it's a pay-per-view or a fight night. Everyone steps their game up, whether they're Brazilian fighters or not from Brazil. They all feed off that crowd, whether they're known, unknown. So that's always a really good show, so please check it out. Now, getting into it, they are starting this card off right, honey, with two basically living legends. You have Vitor Belfort taking on Lyoto Machida, and the crowd is going to be in a frenzy when these two come out. Now, this is a fight that I actually agree with. I actually agree with. You have people out there saying, you know, they're past their prime. Why are they still fighting? This and that and the other. They don't have it anymore. Look, no one's saying that they're in title contention, but this is a fight where they're pretty much at the same place in their careers. So if you still have a name, people want to still see you fight. You can still make money fighting and entertain your fans and do what you love to do, what you don't have many years to do. Then I say, and you're cleared by a doctor, then I'm all for it. So I actually really agree with this fight. You have two fighters who are at the same level to me in their careers, fighting each other and giving us a show. So crowd's going to be in a tensy. You have Lyoto Machida, who of course is a black belt in karate and I believe in Brazilian jiu-jitsu as well, or jiu-jitsu as well. So former light heavyweight champion. The speed has slowed down a bit. I believe his cardio has slowed down a bit. He's coming off a win against Eric Anders, which is kind of split decision. I'm not quite sure if he won that fight, but he is coming off of a win there. I still think that he will I think he's more diverse than Vitor Belfort is. Vitor Belfort is all around good. He's got some great kickboxing. He's going to have that initial spurt, that initial aggression, that chaos. And I believe that if Lyoto Machida can stay away from that, use his distance, you know, he has that darting in and out style. So don't get close to Vitor. Don't get into a dirty boxing match with him. Keep your distance, dart in and out, and let him expend that energy for that first round. Now, Vitor Belfort is also coming off of a win against Nate Marquardt, which I actually think was a stronger win than Lyoto's win over Eric Anders. But, however, like I said, I believe if Lyoto can stay away from him for that first round, I believe that Vitor, like we've seen in his last few fights, will expend his initial energy there and then will slow down tremendously. So if Lyoto can measure his cardio better, if he's in better conditioning, that's kind of what we're going to see here. Who's in better conditioning? Who's more injury-free than the other one? Who's in better shape? Who had the better camp? That's who's gonna win this fight. Here, I can't really say one or the other. I'm gonna call it for Lyoto Machida. I think if this goes to a decision, which I think it will, I think it favors him. If it ends early, it favors Vitor. So there you go. Either way, crowd's gonna love it. Next up, I am choosing John Lineker to beat Brian Kelleher. Now I think this is a more important fight than people are talking about. I think Brian, I don't know how good he is. I can admit that. So I'm really looking to see this as kind of a test, not saying that Lineker is like a bridge, you know, one of those gatekeepers. Absolutely not. He's in the top 5, I believe, title contender there. But I'm not sure he's still growing. So that I'm really looking at this to see who wins, how will they win. I am going to choose John Lineker, like I said. I think that his boxing skill might be too much and he has enough wrestling to keep this off the ground. But again, I don't know. I think this is going to be a good fight and one to watch. Next up, I'm choosing Mackenzie Dern to beat Amanda Cooper. Another thing, I think this is a good test for her. We have not as much information on Mackenzie Dern. She is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, and we'll see Amanda Cooper, who's a boxing practitioner. I believe if she has enough to get this fight to the ground, that she could win. But will she have enough? I think this is a step up in competition for her. You know, there's a lot of eyes on her. So looking to see how she does, but I am choosing Mackenzie Dern. Now, co-main event, and we're seeing Jacare Souza take on Kelvin Gastelum. And this one's kind of tricky for me because, one, what condition is Kelvin Gastelum going to be in? Even now that he's been kicked out of the welterweight division, which I still think is his true division, and into the middleweight division, he's still having issues with his body. Is it laziness, discipline, the wrong people around you? What is it? Sometimes he just doesn't perform like I think he should. He's only 26 years old, so he still has room to grow, but has he formed these habits? You have Jacare Souza, who of course is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu extraordinaire, also has good wrestling as well, has also developed his hands, has a one-punch knockout power. They both do. They both develop their hands. Kelvin Gastelum, I think, has more of that wrestling fundamental strength on the ground, but I don't know if that will matter. I think Jacare is bigger. I don't think Jacare is bigger. I know he's bigger than he is. Because again, Kelvin shouldn't even be in this division. Anyway, Jacare is bigger than him. So will Kelvin, being stronger than he looks, much stronger than he looks from that fundamental wrestling strength, be stronger than Jacare? I'm not quite sure. On the feet, Jacare has reach. He has developed, like I said, quite decent boxing game. So has Kelvin. I think Kelvin's going to need to close the distance quickly. He's going to need to get this in close quarters, dirty boxing, and maybe if you can get him down ground and pound, see what happens. I'm not sure who's going to be strong on the ground. If you can be smart, keep yourself in a good position on the ground and get some ground and pound in a safe way and point your way to a victory on the ground, then do that. But I'm not sure that you can. Jacare is so dangerous on the ground. So I'm going to pick Jacare. The age, Jacare's 38, like I said, and Kelvin's 26. When will that show? Jacare, for a 38-year-old, he's ranked number 2. He's not showing that age. He happens to be in a division that is talented for like the top 8, but not quite as talented as the welterweight, lightweight, and featherweight divisions. So he still manages to be up there in that top 5 there. So is this that turning of the guard? I'm not so sure. And I am going to, in Brazil, with the crowd behind him, I'm going to pick Jacare. That doesn't mean that Kelvin can't win, but I think he has an uphill battle here. And he's, again, so inconsistent, so frustrating. All right, next up, main event. And we are seeing the women's UFC bantamweight champion, Miss Amanda Nunes. I tried to like get her nickname Lioness in there at the same time. That's where that messed. Anyway, taking on Requel Pennington. This is an interesting fight. Requel Pennington, slowly kind of the dark horse of the division. I think she's like on a 5-fight winning streak or something like that. I think her most notable win is probably against Pena, I believe. On this silent but deadly streak there, that bulldog choke that she had, again, was one of the most impressive victories I've ever seen. She's slick. That's like my main word that comes to mind when I think of Requel Pennington, is that she's slick. She's slick on the feet, she's slick on the ground, she's faster than she looks, she fights kind of long with her stand-up game, but again, her submission game, that's her strong point here, especially against Amanda Nunes, although I'm not quite sure how strong it's going to be, seeing as how Amanda Nunes is a black belt in jiu-jitsu herself and has world titles in jiu-jitsu. So even if this was purely a grappling match, and grappling being Requel's strong point, I'm not quite sure that she has enough against Amanda. And on the feet, I'm just going to keep it real. I think Amanda is not just a better striker than her. I think she is a far superior striker than Requel in every way. I think she's faster. I think she has better combinations. I think she has better footwork. I think she has better body movement, better feints. I think everything. More powerful, everything. So my main thing on the feet would be Requel, close that distance, dirty boxing. Beat her in close quarters, maybe try to get her frustrated. Amanda can get emotional, piss her off, throw the book at her. Everything you've been practicing, the things you've been dreaming up, try it. This is the fight where you try it. This is not the heavyweight division where you can lose one, win 2 fights, and get right back into the title contention. The bantamweight division has some contenders coming up, so you may not get back there that quickly. In fact, one of them's on that very same card. So this is your chance. Take risk, high reward for Requel Pennington. Trick her into bad movement. Go for something flying off, something off the cage, something you're not known for. Because you're like I said, you're slick. You're not flashy. You're slick. You knife somebody in the back while they're asleep, while they're not noticing. That's the kind of offense I would say Requel has. She's like an assassin. So maybe go the opposite. Maybe try to trick her in a bad movement. Again, maybe try to piss her off. Maybe try to get her frustrated. Maybe try to get her out of character. I'm not quite sure if you're going to skill for skill beat her. I think she's beat a higher level of competition throughout her entire career. Will she take you lightly? Being in Brazil, I'm not quite sure. Having those 2 hard-fought victories against Valentina, I think she's been humbled a bit. I don't think her ego's going to get in the way, because we know she's got kind of an ego. She's had issues with not making weight, so it's been outside issues with Amanda Nunes, so maybe there's some things there, but I wouldn't count on that, Requel. High risk, high reward. Take a chance. Take a chance. Playing it safe, sticking with champ. I'm calling for Amanda Nunes. Let me know your picks, your injury updates, how excited you are for another card in Brazil, because you know they're so exciting. And follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where I will have 15-second predictions and maybe some on the undercards like I've been doing lately. So look out for those. Follow me on Snapchat. Subscribe, like, talk to me, take care, and goodbye.